France is the global epicenter of liqueur production. We started our tour in the north of France at the Benedictine Distillery in Fécamp. If our first distillery was anything to go by, France is definitely in a class of its own when it comes to distilleries. Believe it or not, this is a distillery, but it's also a whole lot more than that. Our guide Danielle took us back through the life of a wine merchant and a true entrepreneur.
So here we are, just in front of Alexandre le Grand. Alexandre le Grand was the founder of the Benedictine company. This man, at the end of the 19th century, was really an innovator, a communication man, and he was also a collector. And he discovered his own collection, a very old manuscript, with the recipe of the product from the Benedictine monks. And this product was elaborated on the 16th century by a Benedictine monk. And Alexandre le Grand renewed the recipe, gave the name Benedictine to its product, and decided to build this palace.
In addition to being a distillery, the Benedictine Palace is a repository for numerous highly valuable artefacts, artworks and sculpture. Many of these are interspersed with the history of Benedictine's development. This ceiling that you're looking at here was made by local boat builders who use techniques familiar to them. That's why it looks somewhat like the inside of a boat. And this stained glass window depicts Don Bernardo Vicelli, who invented Benedictine. And this is Alessandro Legrand, who commercialised the product many years later.
Century, Middle Ages, and
the term liqueur is derived from the Latin liquefacere, which means to melt or dissolve, reflecting the flavour extraction process. It also reflects the shift from medicinal elixirs to pleasant-tasting digestives. It seems that in the liqueur industry, the best compliment is to be copied. Many of the distilleries we visited had displays of counterfeits. At Benedictine, there were over 500.
From all over the world.
We have already been.
We added some.
The Palace and Museum is only part of the picture. Danielle arranged for me to meet with Frédéric, the production plant manager of the Benedictine Distillery, and of course this was also within the palace. So, Frédéric, can you explain to us the process of making Benedictine?
Yes, so the process, we receive plants, herb and spices, as vanilla, cardamom, lemon and saffron, and we do different methods of processes to extract the aromatic compounds.
Right.
You understand?
Yes.
It can be distillation, maceration or infusion.
Right.
The difference between the methods is in the compounds we want to extract from the blend.
Okay, so you're using all sorts of different methods.
It's a combination.
Depending which herbs and spice you're trying to get flavour.
Yes. And first of all, there is maceration for lemon and vanilla. We put together alcohol, water, and lemon.
Yes.
And there is a 8-month rest for this blend.
Yes.
And then we gather the alcohol with the essential oil of lemon or vanilla, and we put it in the pot still here to distill. Here we can do distillation and infusion. The difference, it's the big one here. The difference between distillation and infusion is that in distillation we want to evaporate alcohol and aromatic compounds, and then we condense them with cold water. And the infusion, we gather a liquid. It's only alcohol with plants, herbs, for 15 hours with water too.
Right.
And we get the juice after this time.
Okay. So that's in this one.
Yes.
And so that's almost like making a cup of tea, or a pot of tea.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
So it's a
We
big
put
tea
the herbs and spices
in the top.
on the top then, and there is a condensation.
Okay.
I think, and we gather all the product after.
Into that.
Yes.
There. So, what is there anything left in here?
In this
Yes.
still only herbs.
The bits left,
Yes.
like in the teapot, the tea leaves.
Yes, and water.
Right. Cures can have several aging processes where the different alkalates are rested and aged to enable the delicate flavours to marry together. Benedictine has 4 of these.
And after this aging, we put together the different alkalates,
Right.
and to obtain a mixed alkalate. You understand?
Yes.
And this new mixed alkalate is then aged for 8 months.
8 months.
Yeah. Change too much.
Let's get the final few steps and we'll see what I've learned.
After all the aging, we have to filter the product, the Benedictine. When the Benedictine, as the name Benedictine, after adding sugar, honey, saffron.
Okay, so the whole process is, first of all, you have the different herbs and spices.
Yes.
You have different ones that you use and different methods.
Yes.
Maceration, which we will see, I hope. And infusion and distillation to get 4 different alkalates.
Yes.
And then those are aged for
3, then 8, and 3 again.
3 months, and then they are blended together.
Yes.
And then aged for 8 months.
Yes.
And then you add the saffron and the other fragile herbs, and 3 more months.
Yes.
Then filter, then bottle.
Yes.
Right, we've got
Right.
it. That's quite
right.
a complicated process.
Yes, very.
Chartreuse, our next stop, also owes its modern success to monks, Chartreusian monks in this case. I'll let Jean-Marc, the president of the Chartreuse company, tell us the story from when the monks arrived.
When they arrived, which is 900 years ago, and when they first arrived, they settled at the very end of the mountain, at the very, you see, all the way up there.
Yeah.
And after 50 years about, they had a rock slide that we can still see, in fact. And most of them died, and they decided to go down the mountain and settle where they are today. And this monastery has been rebuilt 9 times, I guess, because of fires. It was really wood huts. It went on fire several times. And this one is partly from the 17th century and partly from the 15th century.
Wow.
As you see, we are living in a history book.
Yeah. Wow. So, how many people would live
now
there?
Here today? 40. The reason it's so big is this monastery is the mother house of the Carthusian order.
Right.
So, Carthusian order is the way you call it. We call it the Chartreuse order. And that's the mother house. And once a year, all the superior of all the monasteries in the world used to meet here. And when you traveled in the Middle Ages, you traveled with soldiers, and if you traveled, it was about 10 people traveling. So in the time when they had about 250, 260 monasteries in the world, it means once a world, that place there had to house about 1,500, 2,000 people.
Wow.
So that's why it's so big, because it's the mother house where everybody would gather once a year.
Jean-Marc and Philippe took us further up the valley to the site of the original Chartreusian monastery, which is looking a little bit worse for wear, as you can see, after numerous landslides and fires. The way Jean-Marc was clambering over the ruins is a very good advertisement for the medicinal benefits of drinking chartreuse. Philippe and the guide took us through the non-secret parts of the process, including the aging warehouse, which happens to be the very longest in the world at 160 metres. And then it was down to the chartreuse bar for a cocktail demo from Philippe. So Philippe, show us some of the ways we can drink chartreuse.
With pleasure. I'm going to show you the classic way we drink chartreuse in France, especially in Europe, as an after dinner. So you take a snifter glass, pour some ice cube, because you know chartreuse is made with herbs and plants and flowers, so it's very good digestive. So you pour some onto glass, and this is a perfect digestive at the end of the meal. It's called elixir. It's made with lime, sugar. So the half lime, 2 tablespoons of sugar. We call that old-fashioned glass, right? Yeah. And you muddle lime and sugar into a glass. You obtain a puree. You add some ice cubes. Add some fresh mint, which is important. Mint and ice cubes. And again, you pour some chartreuse. You pour 4 cl of green chartreuse into a glass. And you finished to top up with sparkling water. This is a great summer drink. You can enjoy all day long.
Rock and roll. Well, come to a significant moment in our epic trip across the world, looking at distilleries, and standing at the Leonardo da Vinci airport in Italy, Rome. It's pretty crazy. Anyway, our mate Lance behind the camera there, he's heading off to Aussie, and I've got to brave the rest of the Italian roads, flick down to Sicily, hang out with some mafioso, and get in some shots of Marsala, and then back up Italy again towards France, eventually flying out from Paris. Still another at least 3,000 or 4,000 k's to put on the clock in the car, which I'm really looking forward to. Alright, so anyway Lance, bon voyage, au revoir, arrivederci, and any other foreign type goodbyes we can think of. Cheers. See you later. The plan was for me to enter the realm of the true intrepid journeyman, where I was in charge of everything. I headed back up to northern Italy to the production plant for Opal Nero and managed to catch up with Titch Hay, who's my contact for the Francoli distillery. Hi Titch, how are you mate?
Very well, very well. Nice to meet you, Sam.
Yeah, you too. Well, tell us about Opal Nero. What is it?
Well, Opal Nero is the world's first premium black Sambuca. As you may well be aware, Sambuca is a national Italian spirit that is very big in Italy. Traditionally, it is a white Sambuca, traditionally drunk as a digestivo after dinner with coffee beans, being for good luck. Opal Nero, as you've briefly mentioned, was developed by Alessandro Francoli back in 1989, actually on his honeymoon while he was in the US, which sounds a little bit strange, but it's true. And Alessandro, being a chemist himself, a qualified chemist, decided to come up with an idea to revolutionise the sort of stagnant Sambuca category. And we had a bit of a play around with Sambuca Cafe, although it was produced years before. And then after about 6 months of experiments, we came up with the world's first black Sambuca being Opal Nero. And the main difference between Sambuca and Opal Nero, although Opal Nero is a Sambuca, is that we use all natural ingredients, being from star anise, green anise, a rare variety of lemon peels, And then the key difference is we use the berries from the elderbush.
Right.
The elderbush grows through northern Italy, which is wildly through northern Italy.
Right.
And we actually take those berries from the tree, we squeeze out a very dark purple black hue from that, and then infuse that to our infusion to make Opal Nero.
So tell us about the serving styles, both in Italy. How do they drink it over there, and how, and of course over here, the other end of the world?
In Italy, as I was saying before, black Zambuca is not widely known. The Italians don't recognise Zambuca as being black. Traditionally, it's a white Zambuca market, and they struggle a little bit with the concept of a black Zambuca.
Right.
Predominantly in the UK, America, New Zealand, and Australia. I'd say probably 80% of our market is done as a straight shot of Opal Nero, or as in mixed shots with Opal and Chartreuse, Opal and Baileys on top of it like that. So that's 80% of our market. Because Opal Nero is only 15 years old, it's slowly coming into its secondary life. And you have more people who are probably our age, in our early 30s, who don't drink too many shots, but are drinking Opal Nero because we enjoy the taste, drinking it over ice with a squeeze of lemon juice, fresh lemon juice, maybe some Red Bull for a little bit of energy, or again with Coca-Cola. And those are sort of the predominantly ways we're promoting Opal Nero.
I also visited Ilva Serrano, where Italy's most famous amaretto is produced. The Serrano is a nut-based liqueur made from almonds that are steeped or infused in alcoholic spirit. Legend has it that Bernardino Luini, a young artist in the Renaissance period, began working on a commission to paint a fresco of the Madonna. When he started his work in 1525, it was customary for actual members of the congregation to be asked to represent the characters portrayed. Bernardino asked a young widow to model for the Madonna, and after working closely for some months together, they fell passionately in love. As a sign of her devotion to him, the young widow created a sweet almond tasting liqueur called Di Serrano. Nearly 500 years later, I was able to taste a few cocktails. So what's this one here?
Splash.
This is the Splash.
Di Serrano and orange juice.
Di Serrano and orange juice. Let's try it.
Great.
Let's try it.
Coffee. This one.
Mixed cream with it. Let's look at that. That sounds pretty fine. I think we'll come back to that one. It's quite good. All right. Now I think that would go down very well after you finish mowing the lawns on a hot day. Nearly ready to cross the Swiss border, or I should say I am. I'm planning to head up round this way and on back to Caen. A couple of days down to Angers, then to Paris and home. I have to say I'm looking forward to it, although it's very nice out here. Come and have a look. I really tried to convince the producer that I needed at least 6 months in Europe to cover Liqueurs properly, but footage like this had him thinking that I was only there for the scenery. Cointreau is probably the world's best known premium citrus liqueur. I had a look through their distillery with Citylene, and we got to see the bottling line producing the first bottles in the world with the new branding.
I know it's very noisy, but you need to get some information about the bottles. So you notice its shape, it's square.
Yes.
And in fact, Edouard Cointreau, who is the creator of the Cointreau, wanted to make something totally different when he finds products. So he decided to put it, he tried to imagine something totally different. That's why he imagined this square bottle. And now, this one is a very new bottle. You can notice, for example, this reminder to the red ribbon, to the seal here too,
Yes.
but always square like this. Okay?
A key to Cointreau's authentic citrus flavour comes from the process for extracting the essential oils. Citylene describes here just a few aspects of this process.
They are picked up at a typical time while they are still green, because at that stage the essential oils are well concentrated in the pill.
Okay.
They don't penetrate the fruit, and that's what we want to get when we are making the distillation, to get all the flowers and all these perfumes.
the flavour of the orange in the skin, not in the
Exactly,
actual fruit.
exactly.
You don't use the fruit.
And in fact, the essential oils are only contained in the pills. They are not in the fruit.
Greetings. We're about to check out some of the cocktails we can make with Cointreau and see what this orange drink can do for us. All right. It's definitely some ice. Well, now we're going to look at a drink that is a bit of a mystery to me at the moment, and I hope that will be rectified very soon. And Emily is going to tell us about, over here, Galliano.
There are about 25 ingredients that enter the composition of Galliano, and here is just some examples of it. So you have green aniseed, that would be that one. You have muscaro. You have star aniseed, which is one of the two main ingredients. Lavender, juniper, mint, peppermint actually, and vanilla, which is the most important Galliano ingredient. But it's not only vanilla liqueur, because you have, beside vanilla, 24 herbs.
Right.
So it's vanilla and some other things.
Okay.
It's fresh vanilla, actually.
French vanilla.
Fresh.
Oh, fresh.
Yes, because when you get mint and aniseed and green aniseed together with vanilla, you get the sweetness of vanilla and the freshness of aniseed combined. So Galliano is quite unique.
How was it made? How are the herbs?
Actually, it's quite a difficult process. We have two types of distillation going on to make Galliano. First, you have a distillation that is made to take the essential oils of 11 different plants. These essential oils are obtained by distillating the ingredients separately with water. And then you have infusion followed by distillation for the other ingredients. The infusion is made into alcohol and it macerates for about 12 hours and then it's distillated. So the difference is that with the first distillation only thing, you get at the end only the essential oil and it's not alcoholic at all.
Right.
Whereas with the second process, you get in the end essential oils mixed with alcohol. The final product is about 70% alcohol in volume, so that's pretty strong and very aromatic as well. Then what you do is just combine the two. Add the vanilla, because vanilla is a separate process, alcohol, sugar, and some caramel to get the yellow color, and that's it, you have Galliano.
Cream-based liqueurs are another style that's always popular. We covered these while we were in Ireland. I'm here at the Bailey's plant and with Peter O'Connor, who's their PR director, and he's going to tell us a little bit about the history and some of the background on Bailey's, a lovely liquor that we love to drink. All right. Hi Peter, how are you?
How are you doing? Great to see you. Welcome to Ireland.
Yeah.
Well, Bailey's was launched in Ireland in 1974. I suppose we were part of the Gilbeys of Ireland group at that time, and we were looking for an export brand because the population of Ireland was around 5 million people, and it still is 5 million people, so we had to look to export markets to grow. Right. So Ireland has a phenomenal tradition for dairying, and we actually had whiskey before the Scots. So therefore the natural thing was, could we get them to mix together to make a liqueur, which at that time there was a huge gap in the liqueur market for a kind of a modern liqueur. Right. And Bailey's was one of was the first ever cream liqueur on the global market, and it has never stopped growing in the 30 years it has been around, which is phenomenal in the drinks industry. So Bailey's is really a marriage of fresh Irish dairy cream, Irish whiskey, Irish spirit, Irish sugar and chocolate mixed together to make a very, very unique flavour and taste, which is loved by consumers all over the world. If we were to do research, and we've done this obviously, 9 out of 10 people love Bailey's from the first time they taste it, and the 10th person probably just doesn't say, I don't like cream anyway, so I'm not going to drink it. Our target market for Bailey's are 25 to 35 year olds to make sure that you've got continuity over time, and every generation seems to love it. Now let me explain to you how Bailey's keeps itself fresh. Basically, when you manufacture cream, you take it, you're left with skim milk. You take out the protein when you're making cream, because cream is kind of a fat in many respects. What we do is we add back in the protein to the cream and homogenize it. That gives the cream a positive charge, and most of you have played with magnets in your time. It's got a positive magnet. Alcohol is a negative magnet, and they stick together. The alcohol coats the cream, and this is what keeps the product fresh. Now, what's unique about Bailey's is that the bond between the alcohol and the cream is its shelf life. And Bailey's has got a shelf life of 30 months, whether you keep it in the fridge or you keep it on the shelf. So Bailey's does not have to be put into the fridge, whether it is in a bar setting or at home. Opened or sealed. Bailey's will last for 30 months, guaranteed by ourselves. So it's a very unique brand in that situation. Then you homogenize in the chocolate and the sugar again, and Bailey's is ready to make. We have about 1,300, 1,400 farmers all on the east coast of Ireland providing milk for us. It is turned into cream by one of the Irish biggest co-ops, dairy co-ops called Glanbia. They turn it into cream for us, and it comes from the time it leaves the cow to it arrives at our building and it's manufactured into Bailey's is less than 36 hours. So it's a very, very fast process. The key is that we have got to have fresh cream. If it goes over 36 hours, we just can't use it. So an integral part of developing the taste and the shelf life is the time from cow to finished product. We export to 130 countries all over the world. Australia and New Zealand are very, very important markets for us. Australia, we sell about 250,000 cases in Australia and about 40,000 cases in New Zealand. So very, very important markets for us. And of course, us Irish love the All Blacks when they come, and the All Blacks have enjoyed Bailey's on their tour of the Bailey's plant when they come to Ireland.
Very good. What can you tell us about the whiskey that goes into Bailey's? Okay,
the whiskey is produced by Irish distillers, who are the main producers of whiskey in Ireland. It's produced in their Middleton plant in County Cork. It's a triple distilled Irish whiskey, and the nearest whiskey or commercial brand on the market to the whiskey that we use in Bailey's is called Powers Irish whiskey.